Hi, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night. I'm so excited that it's lighter outside now. Every night it gets lighter and lighter, and it's like, it just gives me such a warm feeling that I can look out the window and there's still sun. It's so nice. But anyway, tonight I am working on with steel wire, and I'm wire wrapping with steel wire. Hi, Mark. I'm wire wrapping with steel wire, and I just want to give you a little backstory. I worked with. Let me stop. I'm getting all ahead of myself again. I get so excited. Anyway, back a while ago when my girls were little, I started working with. I started wire wrapping. And I did a lot of work. I worked primarily with sterling silver wire. And hi, Maya. And I did a lot of wire wrapping with the sterling silver wire. And I was really successful. I sold a lot of really, nice pieces. And my pieces were simple. And I think that's what was really, what caught people's eyes, because they were just simple pieces, and it was, particular stones that, maybe a person was gravitated towards, like a rose quartz or amethyst or lapis, whatever stone. And I think the wire wrapping, keeping it simple was what, drew people to the work. So fast forward a few years ago, I took some workshops, some mixed media art workshops. And at the workshop, at one of the workshops I took, it was a jewelry workshop with Keith LeBou, who I consider to be a master jewelry artist. I just do. He's amazing. And if you get a chance, look up his work. His name is Keith LeBou. And hi, Sean. He's an amazing artist. So he was teaching a class on jewelry making with steel wire, and I was intrigued because, like, steel wire. Okay, what do you do? Like, I imagined like the steel wire that you get, like, you probably have it in your house, the galvanized wire, and it's sort of a kind of a funky gray, and it's not really all that pretty, and whatever. But that wasn't the case. He was working with dark annealed steel wire, and which is, you get at the hardware store, but I learned a lot of techniques with that. And this wire it's like I said, you can find it at the hardware store, and comes in a roll, and there's different gauges of it. And I really enjoy it because I enjoy it because it's like a gunmetal finish when I'm done working with it. And it's really easy to work with. And I get the patina effect that I want with sterling silver, but I don't have to use patina. And that's really cool. And it's a really strong wire. So anything you wrap with this, or you make chain, links for a necklace with it or whatever, it's gonna stay forever. So that was like my, passage into working with the steel wire. So it's really, I'll get started in a second, but I just want to let you know that it comes in a roll, and it's steel wire. So it's dark annealed steel wire. So what they do is they coil it, and they heat it. With a flame, they flame it, and it heats it up, and it anneals it, it softens it on the roll. So after, it cools and everything, because it has to cool down really slow. After it cools, it's got this yucky, oily, dirty finish. It's like a rusty kind of finish on it. So it comes really dirty when you pull it off the roll. But just with a little cleaning with steel wool, and all the other cleaning processes that I go through after I'm done with the piece, it comes out really just amazing. And I have some examples I'm going to show you right now. These are some pieces I made. These are pieces that are from my own collection, and I made these a while ago, and they're mixed media pieces. I was really into a mixed media phase for a while. And these are 3 of the pieces that I made. And you could see, hopefully you could see the steel, the wire that was used. And I don't know. I can't say enough about it. It's just, it's another thing I'm excited about doing. And you know, so I get really excited. The one here on the end is a chain that I made, and I just started wearing it again. But it's really nice to wear because it kind of rolls around and it feels good on. It's just like a nice finish. It feels good. But part of the finishing process with steel, I must say, is that it has to be finished with wax. Otherwise, it's not going to, it's going to rust. So I use a microcrystalline wax to finish my pieces. And, you know, after they've been tumbled and, you know, polished and whatnot, I use the wax, and each piece is finished with that, so it's not going to rust. And it gives it a nice extra something there. So I'm going to show you now the pieces. So I digress. I got ahead of myself. So I'll stop. So recently, a friend of mine asked me to fix her daughter's pendant that had broken, and she asked me to wire wrap it, and I said, oh, sure, no problem. So it got my juices flowing again. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Hi, Pam. Welcome. So I got my juices flowing and thinking about wire wrapping again. I'm like, you know, I really enjoyed wire wrapping. It was really a lot of fun. So I should really think about doing some wire wrapping again. And lo and behold, my friend asked me to do that, you know. So it's like, it's just, I like the way things work sometimes. And then after that, she recommended me to someone that was looking for an artist to do a wire wrapping class. So this summer, I will be doing a wire wrapping class at a local library, which I'm really excited about. So I say all of that to say that I've been working on samples. And yesterday, I was down in my studio, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start working with steel wire again, and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to make it work. So, you know, I pulled it out and started doing some wire wrapping with the stones, because if you remember last week, I did some wire wrapping with silver wire. And I'm thinking for the class, you know, I probably won't use this for the class that I'm going to teach, but I'm thinking, you know, I'll probably still do the silver wire, because I'm sure most people would like that. But for me, I'm working with the steel wire. So there's that. So these are the pieces that I just worked on today, actually. Sitting here this afternoon, I worked on these pieces. And as you can see, they're all a little bit different, a little variation on the same design. So that's what I'm gonna, I hope you could see that. I hope it wasn't too close. I'm working on my angles. Sean, you know about that, right? Right, girl? Little private joke there. But anyway, so I hope you can see those pretty good. And I have another necklace to show you at the end. And hi, Allie. We have another necklace to show you at the end that is for sale. So yeah. All right, so let me get a sip here of little mouth is getting a little dry there from talking so much. Okay, so let's get started. So I think I'm gonna I have a bunch of stones here in front of me. I have some amethyst, and I got these cool I think they're called I can't really say chariot stone, I'm not sure, but they're these pretty dark. They're like, I think they're like a dark purple, and they have some lighter purple in it. I really like those, but I think I'm just going to work with this amethyst, this piece of the amethyst tonight. So I started my spiral already. I cleaned my wire with a paper towel just to get the yuckies off, and then I also scraped it down with steel wool I have here that I use to clean the the wire with. And I'm going to start with I have my spiral started, and I already hammered. I hammered. And because, I don't want the screen to be going like this, because I was watching it while I was hammering, and I'm like, oh my, that is not a good look. So, all right. So what I like to do is, and without getting woo-woo on anybody, I like to look at the stone and just sort of like get a feel for the stone and, turn it over, kind of figure out where the wire wants to be, and, just kind of figure out what direction I'm going to go with the wire, and without doing too many bends and too much tightening. And with this wire, the nice thing is that you really don't have to. I mean, I like the fact that it's not, my wraps don't come out like super tight to the stone, I like that. There's some space in there, and it just gives it a little bit more movement and texture. So I'm just trying to figure out which direction I want to go right now with the wire. And I'm thinking I'm going to go to the right. This one doesn't really need a whole lot of I'm just kind of pressing it down and sculpting it as I move the wire around. Whoops, it's kind of long. I cut my wires really long because I never know where I'm going with it. And sometimes I attach wires, which is fine, but it's just what I do. Another one of those, just what I do. So I've got a pretty good thing going so far. It's going to hold. It looks like it might hold like that, but I have to, I'm not happy with just holding like that. So we're going to keep on working it around. It's designing on the fly, freeform wire wrapping. Now for my class, I probably won't teach this. I will probably teach, more traditional ways of wire wrapping, which is what most people want to learn anyway. Okay, so I'm liking this so far, but I think it needs to be anchored at the bottom. So now I need to figure out which, okay. I think I'm going to go back around. Okay, there we go. And here I am going to come up for my bail because that's the bottom of my stone. I'm just bending the wire in the back so that to make a L bend. And now I can actually, with this one, I can probably get away without a additional anchor in the back, but I don't know. I have to think on that for a minute. Oh, I know. I'm going to do a little. This is what I like about it because I never know what I'm going to do. And, you know, sometimes that's frustrating, but for the most part, I enjoy it. For the most part, it's a lot of fun because I'm designing on the fly, and most of the time it works out. When it doesn't, you know, that's a whole different thing. But then I learn something when it doesn't work out. I learn what, you know, what works, what doesn't work, all that stuff. So I'm looking at this now, and I'm realizing it does need to be anchored in the back here. So I am going to cut some. I'm going to do another loop because I didn't finish my loop. This wire can be hard on the hands, so I'm trying to find techniques that are, do things that are, you know, designs that are simple and will not be too damaging, or not damaging at all. That would be nice. All right. So I'm trying to do is I'm doing a sort of a loopy. Hi, Brianna. Welcome. I'm doing a loopy sort of bail there. And I'm bringing the wire. I brought the wire back around the front because I think I'm going to attach it down and back up so that it will cradle the bottom of the stone a little bit and anchor it a little bit more. All right. All right. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I can tell you one thing. With steel wire, you have to use good cutters because it's not soft like sterling or copper, and you will ruin your cutters. So I use these, and I have another really heavy duty pair when I use even heavier gauge wire, but this is 19 gauge, so it's not that bad. And I have 19, and I have 24 and 28 gauge, which the numbers, the higher the number, the lower the gauge. So certain things I can use my regular pliers for, but other things, for the heavier gauges, it's like, nope. I'm just wrangling the wire around the back. Okay. All right, that one looks like it's pretty well attached. Now I can kind of go in and straighten it up. And I think I'm gonna, I don't know. Trying to decide which way to bend. This is always a challenge for me. Do it back. All right. right, that's, you know what? I'm going to cut a piece of string here, piece of cording, so it's a little easier for you to see it. And also I need to see how it hangs so I can figure out more. All right, so that's the amethyst. It's a tumbled amethyst stone, steel wire. And when I go in and, oh, Mark has a question. Let's see. And Maya has a question. Can I buy these pliers? The pliers that I'm using at a craft store, yes, they can be bought at a craft store. Also online, I do have some pliers that I buy online that are specialty pliers for different things, but you can definitely find them at a craft store for sure. And on the average, how long does a cutter last if you avoid cutting steel? They could last for, you know what, I've been using these cutters for, like, I would say probably the last 6 or 7 years. And I have another pair that I just don't, you know, I got these, so I stopped using those, but I've had those for like 20 years. So they last as long as you take care of them and, you know, you don't abuse them with using them on steel. They'll last a long time. So, all right, where was I with this? All right, take that off. Now, all right, I'm gonna leave this alone for now because I don't know which way where I want to go, and I still think I need to anchor it some more in the back. I need to give it, I need to put some 24 gauge wire in the back to anchor it some more because I don't want it to catch on anything. You know, if it's poles or whatever, I don't want that to happen. But so I think that one's done for now. And what I'll do later is I will take the steel wool and clean it up some more, just polish more of the wire, and to bring up more of that beautiful shine that it has. And the steel doesn't affect the wire. The steel wool does not affect the stone at all. So you know, I'm fearlessly doing this and knowing that it's not going to scratch the stone. Certain stones I wouldn't do that with, but these tumble stones are pretty hardy, and they go in a tumbler, so they're going to handle a little bit of steel wool. And just bringing up the shine. I said I was going to do this after, but I'm doing it now, so. Because I kind of hope that you can see possibly the difference in the shine with just a little bit of polish. Hoping I can get that on camera. Okay, that's good for now. So it was really dark before, and now with a little polishing, it's a little bit shinier. And I hope you can see that. Yeah, there's the spiral. But yeah, with a little bit of steel wool and a little polishing, little elbow grease, the shine will come up and really be a nice, I don't know how, to me it's like the gunmetal is a warm texture to it, or coloring to it. And you know, that's usually not what you think of when you're thinking of steel and those kinds of things as warm, but I find that with this finish, and I kind of like it better than patina on sterling silver. At least that's how I feel today. We'll see. Next week it could be a whole different thing. Anyway, I have some more wire here that I already cleaned, but it's still pretty dirty. And I think I'll show you the other technique I was doing. I think I'll do it with this stone. This is Chrysocolla that I'm working with. And I just got this past weekend. Got a bunch of really cool stones this past weekend. And I'm noticing, everything's purples and blues. And then today, I was reading an article, and the article said the color of the year is purple. Like, all the shades of purple. I'm like, well, I'm on trend, and I didn't even know it. It's kind of fun. Anyway, I'm bending the wire. I don't really care about trends. I just kind of do my own thing anyway. Whether it was on trend or not, I was still going to use purple stones. So, does the steel wire ever scratch the stones? That's a good question, Sean. It depends on. I mean, I don't manipulate the wire enough to scratch the stone, and but I would say no. But it could happen. If you're really trying to tighten it up, the wire too tight against the stone, yeah, it could break it. But I don't think most jewelers using this wire would really tighten it up that much. Hopefully not, to break the stone. But that was a good question. Okay. I'm just trying to make my loop a little bit more uniform because it's going to go at the bottom of the stone. Okay. I get very fussy, as I have said in the past, but I'm going to try not to be tonight. I'm just going to try to commit to it and let it go. So, okay, I'm working with this one, right? Okay. Okay, I'll stop. I promise. I'm stopping. Okay, so now I'm going to take the stone and measure it and see where I want the loop to be at the bottom. I don't want too much of it to show, but it's an anchor. It's the anchor point. So, oops, that's too big. I can tell already. Okay. Okay, so try to keep it in place. I made that loop, it just brought it up, and it's going to hold the bottom of the stone. And then I'm going to make up that L bend in the back again because I want to bring my wire around. Which way do I want to go? Okay. You got to hold it tight to keep the loops kind of where you want them. Otherwise, I have to use tape to hold things down. But okay, there we go. Now I'm wrapping it around again. Okay. Okay, now I have the beginning of a cage. So I have to put some more wire on the back to anchor it. So I'm going to do that. Cut some steel, some 24. Where'd my cutters go? Okay. when I get done doing this, even though I clean the wire off with the steel wool, my hands are just greasy and black. I guess they must put some kind of oil on it too, probably to keep to, I don't know. But it is oily. It's very oily and dirty. But I don't mind. Okay. For some reason, it's not. Okay. All right, so I have it. Whoops, I have a little anchor in the back, but I squished my wire in the front. Here's my stone. Okay. So you know what? This is like coiling around nicely, but it's kind of boring because it's like, yeah, it's just kind of, you know, whatever. So I think I'm going to do a little, just give it a little movement. Okay. All right, I'm liking that. No. I'm assessing if it needs more. Another wire, or if I need to go a different way. Because right now I'm going up that side, but I'm not sure. Oh, good advice, Mark. Go with the flow. I'll go with the flow. I think I'll wrap it this way and come up here and leave that little bend because that'll be a pain that took us to try to get out, but I like it. Got this little bend from coiling it up the other way, and I like it, so we'll leave it. That's how it works. A lot of it is, you know, does it look good, right? You know, is it working? My main objective is so that the stone does not fall out. And the design comes after that, but it also has to be, you know, it has to look good. So there's that. Okay. And I think this time I will do, well, I need to, I'm just squishing the wire down a little bit so it tightens it. Let's see. That's where I'm at now. And I think that this will actually, whoop, it doesn't hold. It's gonna need another wire. All right, so let's see, where did my, okay. Oh no, I have a piece already cut. Yes, I don't have to clean it in front of you. All right, so now I think I'm gonna have to bring a wire around from the back to the front and anchor it in the front. Or, yeah, I'm going to have to do that. So, start in the back. Right now, all the wires are nice and loose, so I can get it in there without too much trouble. The other nice thing about this wire is that I'm not as concerned about scratching, because the scratches of the wire come out easier because of all the, the polishing with the stainless steel, the steel wool, and the tumbler, and all the other polishing that I do. So it's like, I don't know, it just makes it the finish even nicer. Not worry about scratches, because any wire worker will tell you that scratches are a concern on your wire. Okay. All right, now I'm going to bring it around the front. I'm going to anchor it right there. Bring it around and anchor it. Okay, almost done here. I'm so excited to know that I still have my chops. I can still do it. I was having a hard time, kind of working on some ideas, and things were not working out. And I'm like, I think I lost it. I'm sure every artist probably goes through that, thinking that they've lost their mojo. Well, thankfully, that wasn't the case. When I got over myself and realized I just needed to practice a little bit, I was fine. So, okay. So I anchored it front and back, and now I see that I'm going to need to do a little, it'll stay in, but I'm going to need to do a bend in the back, because it's a little bit higher off the stone than I like. So I'm going to go to the left with that. Oh, good. Okay. Okay, I'll do that later. Cool. And the back is like very organic, very whatever, very. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit and make my bail. And then I will be done. All right. So it's all finished. And I have to, of course, go back and go with the steel wool, clean it up a little bit more, and then it will go downstairs to the tumbler and polishing, and along with the other ones. But for now, this baby is done. So that's what that looks like. All finished. And what did I say? This is chalcedony, the stone. So yeah, this is I'm you know, on a roll here with wire wrapping, and you know, working on my samples. And these are not samples for my class. These are going to be for sale on my website as soon as I finish the cords. And I think I'm going to offer them with different lengths of cord because you know, everybody likes a different length. So I think I'm going to do that. Hey, Barbara, how you doing? I never call her Barbara. It's really Barb. Right, Barb? Barb. All right, so that's done. And yeah, I'm going to keep on working on some more of these because they're fun, and I have a mission to accomplish. So I'm going to do that. And I want to show you one necklace that I do have available on my website, jbaskervilledesigns.com. This necklace, this is on the front page, and this is one of my featured necklaces. And I did this one with the steel wire and continued with, of course, my spirals, because I had to mimic the spirals in this. This is batik bone piece pendant. I think I probably got this pendant down in Washington when I was visiting my sweet sister Shawnee. And yeah, so that's what the pendant's from. But then I did the spirals and the turquoise, and so yeah, this is on my website, and the other pieces will be available as soon as I get them finished and photographed and all that good stuff. They'll be available for sale too, and I'm going to continue working. And yeah, I think I'm going to say goodnight for now, and I hope you guys have a good evening, and I'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Good night, everybody.